Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I'm excited to share a couple of brand new, beautiful, elegant floral card designs using the ever popular Blackout technique, but this time we are using components from the August 2024 Simon Says Stamp card kit, and it is chock full of amazing product. So I want to take a look at everything in the kit. You're getting some distress spritz, my favorite microfiber cleaning cloth, some wonderful ribbon. We're actually going to color this with the distress spritz, foam adhesive squares, dies, a wonderful 6x8 stamp set. The coordinating dies are an add-on purchase, an embossing folder that we're going to use today in our cards. 3 sheets of cardstock. We're getting sea glass, lavender, and watercolor paper. We're going to use all 3 of the cardstocks as well today. Some beautiful pattern papers, a black card base, a white 5x7 card base, and a pink 5x7 envelope. So we are going to get started with some 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panels of cardstock placed in our embossing folder included in the kit. Cardstock and embossing folder both come in the kit. I like to run mine through my Spellbinders machine, just my Simon Says Stamp embossing folders with the platform base, the embossing folder with cardstock or paper inside, and then I use the packaging from my embossing folder as a shim. Now we're going to go with a black ink pad. I am using the archival black soot ink pad here, and we are using the debossed side, and we want to give this an all over, just really good coverage. The ink is going to stick to the, or apply to the flat portion of the cardstock and not that debossed area. Look how it's beautiful just like this. Literally, this embossing folder looks spectacular with this technique. When I saw it, I knew this is what I wanted to do, but when I saw how amazing this looked, I was beyond thrilled. So I'm going to do this with the lavender cardstock as well, because you know my theory, if we already have everything out, we might as well make more than one card. And is the lavender gorgeous or what? I do like to use the Simon Says Stamp glass magnetic mat for doing this, as the cleanup is super quick and easy. I use my microfiber cloth with a little Simon Says Stamp cleaner. Easy peasy cleanup. Now, once we have the backgrounds of our card all inked with our black ink, we're going to place our panels in my splatter box. I like to use this plastic box because I can wash it out after several uses, and it just can be reused over and over again. And I spritzed one with peacock feathers, and then I'm spritzing the other one with picked raspberry. And it's going to leave us with this beautiful shimmery effect all over the background. Then I am taking my floral dies from the kit, and we are going to place those in this spatter box as well. And we are going to then apply our distress spritzes to the die cut pieces. And it's a single die, and it die cuts all of these pieces. I did use the watercolor cardstock included in the kit to die cut all of my florals. In addition to the distress spritzes that you get in the kit, I did use some from my stash because I wanted to add some greens and purples and things like that. I also cut the ribbon included in the kit in half, and on one half I am applying picked raspberry, fossilized amber, and then I did go in and add a little bit of my purple distress spritz. Is it wilted violet, I think? And we're going to add that, but we'll do that here in a little bit. I also did try to keep my florals a little more interesting and not just a single color. So you'll notice that often after that initial application, I'll add maybe another color on top. It's going to leave us with much more interesting cards. Now, I like to take them out of my plastic box because they're going to dry much faster. And in this case, I put them on my microfiber cloth, and that's going to absorb some of that extra moisture from, using the Distress Spritz, as well as I can then, clean out my box. I actually was lazy and I just put paper towels down. And I am going to add some peacock feathers and fossilized amber to my blue ribbon. But I have a ceiling fan going right now in my craft room that did help things dry, but I let everything air dry before I touched it. You could speed it up with a heat tool if you wanted to, but I opted to just kind of let everything air dry. I did try to kind of squeeze a little of the extra moisture out of the ribbon so it dries quicker. It surprisingly did not take very long. You can totally customize and make your own ribbon, which is amazing. So right now, I knew at this point it's really bright pink, and I like the pink base, but I feel like we need to mute it a little bit with some lavender to match the cardstock we're using. So I was pretty generous and added in a lot of that purple, and then I'm just putting it in my paper towel and just kind of, again, pressing out a little of that excess moisture. I've got lots of florals. I did end up die cutting and inking more florals than what I'm going to use for my cards, but that's okay. I just have a couple extras. In fact, I made another card off camera, so all is well. Again, trying to mix and just have a little bit more interesting splatter on these where, there's a little bit of pink in the purple and in the yellow, and it just looks so pretty when dry. We're going to do a few more, and I was very aware with adding my color that the two card backgrounds are going to have a bit different look. One is a purple base, one is a blue base, even though they both have that blackout technique. Now, I did take Twisted Citron for the stems. I will say I don't think it's terribly green. It looks very brownish when it goes on. However, in the finished stems, it's amazing. Now, everything is almost dry, so I took the ribbon. It's still just slightly damp, and I am kind of squishing it in my hands to make that crinkly ribbon. And I'm going to let that sit and dry while I work on my cards. And I'm, again, just letting everything just sit out and air dry. In my Misty, I'm going to remove my insert, and I am placing my now dry background panel that has the blackout technique and Distress Spritz on it. We're going to take my favorite Simon Says Stamp old letter background. We're going to pop that into the Misty, and you guessed it, white pigment ink text background. You guys, it looks amazing on this. This might be my favorite text background, card background. I just love it. It looks so elegant and so beautiful. It looks like a specialty paper that you would buy. Creating my own patterned backgrounds is one of my all-time favorite things to do, and these could not be more spectacular. It just, I don't know, it thrills me to see the plain light pastel cardstock taken from the kit, like you see right here, turned into, embossed. Then you use the deboss side, you use black ink, you use white pigment ink, you use the spritz, and what it turns out, it's just amazing. Then I'm taking a sentiment from the stamp set included in the kit. I chose to use Sending Love and Hugs. On some of the rest of the cardstock from the kit, I'm stamping that greeting, and then we'll use the coordinating dies to die cut these. Once we have our components, we are really ready to pull it all together. There is a sheet of foam squares included in the kit. You guys know that I am here for that. We are going to place 3 floral stems in the center of each card design. We're going to pop up the flowers, wrap the ribbon around our stems, tie it into a little bow, and pop our sentiment in place. It's going to be beautiful, elegant, and it just all came together so amazing and so pretty. Now, when I do these card kit videos, I do try to stick to the components of the kit for the most part. Obviously, I pulled in a background stamp and a few additional Distress Spritz colors. However, the cardstock, including the watercolor cardstock, most of the Distress Spritz, the stamp set, the ribbon, the foam adhesive squares all come from the kit. That is a lot of amazing value right there with just a couple of cards. So I am assembling my flowers. You can see that 3 pieces go together like this, 2 floral pieces, and then our stem. And I want to kind of, you know, add all my liquid glue, and then on the back of the top of the flower only, obviously the flower stem itself is just too skinny to really put any foam back behind that. And in this case, we don't want to. I'm going to put foam back behind the flower, and then we're going to place it on our card kind of in the center of that beautiful oval shape of the embossed or debossed area. We're going to overlap the stems of our 3 florals, and then we'll take the coordinating ribbon for each background. One is more pinks and purples, one is more blues and yellows, and we're going to wrap that around the stems and tie it into a bow before placing our glue back behind the knot of the bow to secure it to our card. So I'm not really gluing the stems down, if you will, kind of leaving them loose, but we're going to secure them with our ribbon. Let's get all these added. And again, you can see how I've just overlapped them, and right where they all connect, that's where we're going to wrap the ribbon around. Once I get it how I like, apparently. Okay, now we're going to take that ribbon. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. And we're going to tie it into a quick bow. You could also use a bow tool and make a bow and just stick it on top if you wanted to. I considered doing that, but then I thought, oh, we'll wrap it around. And then I like to fuss with the bow until I get it, you know, sized right and nice and tight. So there's going to be a lot of adjusting. The tails are really long. I probably could have gotten 3 bows out of this length of ribbon. But you know, I hate to not give myself enough, so it's okay. And then I'm going to put foam adhesive on the back of my sentiment, and we're going to pop that sentiment right here kind of over the ends of our floral stems, securing everything. I'm going to take some scissors and trim up the end of my ribbon. We're going to tuck that kind of back behind our sentiment, glue back behind the knot to keep that nice and secure. And yes, I do know that sentiment is at an angle. I will fix it here in a minute. I really should have got the T-square ruler out to begin with, but I did not. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for our second card. Can you guys imagine maybe taking a whole rainbow assortment of cardstock and creating a bunch of cards? Let's say a set of thank you cards, or if you need a bunch of birthday cards, whatever the case may be, you could totally create a lot of cards in one setting using this kit. If you cut apart the lavender and the sea glass, you're going to need, you know, 1/4 of that probably for the extra sentiment. If you do what I did here, you could get 6 cards, 3 out of each color, plus any cardstock that you have at home. And that is what I did too. Off camera, I made additional cards using these supplies because I already had them and I already had them out. And I had some extra florals, and I always like just going ahead and creating a bunch of cards. It's so fantastic to have them on hand. Okay, same thing here. We're going to secure our flowers. We'll wrap the ribbon around the stems and tie it into a little bow. And this ribbon, of course, has got more of the peacock feathers and fossilized amber. Look how great it matches. It ends up matching the sea glass color of the cardstock that shows through the debossed area. Oh my gosh, I just love it. And then we're going to pop up this sentiment with foam adhesive squares as well. Now, this is where I really realized my sentiments I tend to put it on skewed. So I was looking at that and I'm like, oh my word, that is not straight. And that will drive me crazy. So I fixed it, and then I did the same thing with this one. I don't know what it is, but I will fix this one as well. We're going to snip up the ends of our ribbon just like we did before. Yep, turn it to the side. That often will give you a very good indication if things are not straight. Look how beautiful. So as gorgeous as these are, I did go ahead then and went to my craft stash and grabbed some of the rainbow gems from Simon Says Stamp from the Rainbow Splash collection. And we're going to add a scattering of these gems to each card to finish them up. A little touch of sparkle is the perfect finishing touch. Each background will be glued to a white top fold card base, and our cards are all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 2 cards created with the Simon Says Stamp August 2024 card kit. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thanks for watching!